Want to hit some disappointing albums real quick?
Yeah, actually, good call. Go for it,
So
Dave.
I have four, well, really three disappointing albums of 2021. And one, of course, rises to the top. And I'm sure you share this. And that would be Lorde's third album,
Mm,
Solar Power, which I'm on record on this podcast saying there's no way it's going to be bad. And maybe
bold
I
take.
jinxed it because Solar Power was a huge letdown. I mean, I like the song The Path, but
Mhm.
other than that, it just doesn't it does not hit the same. That one really bothers me.
Yeah, that was definitely one that was disappointing for me. I do have to say, I did like the song "Solar Power." I thought it started off kind of strong. The Path also a good song, but then it just really get lost itself. I think obviously Drake's album just
Yeah.
whatever we expected of it, it definitely was below those expectations.
Right. Yeah, I don't have it quite on this tier just because I didn't have as high expectations for CLB, but I agree, definitely a disappointment. I also will throw Little Nas X Montero on there, whereas I think Montero had some great highs, like Industry Baby, and also Call Me by Your Name, but overall, I just felt Nas X seemed to waste a lot of time doing things he's not particularly adept at on Montero, and he remains very much a work in progress. And that album is a clear example of that.
Um, for me, John Mayer's Sobrock, a huge disappointment. Just because it was bad. Like the album just is bad. So,
Yeah.
it worked for like 2 seconds, two tracks, and it just completely
Mhm.
became redundant. So
Yeah.
that was a big letdown.
Also, I mean, a lot of lists online would disagree with this one, but I gotta say the Billie Eilish sophomore album, "Happier Than Ever," overall as a record, did leave me a bit wanting. There's some moments I liked. Perhaps I'll be talking about one of those in a second. But I think overall, as an album, I appreciate lyrically what she was getting at. You know, as her circumstances, as her celebrity has tremendously changed her worldview on things. How could it not? I totally sympathize with that. But I think musically, I just wasn't as interested in what her and Phineas were, cooking up, especially on the production side of things. Like, there's just by design less hits on this album.
Yeah, I agree. It was also on my disappointment list, and it just didn't reach the same highs. Maybe that's not a fair thing to put it up against the first album, obviously. Just my last one here. Well, actually, I just want as a bit of a troll. The Zayn album, huge disappointment, but just for all the Zayn haters, so that they can
We got
tune
a
in
lot of
here.
dislikes on that already. Keep them coming.
But her, back of my mind
Ugh.
for an artist that has been tapped by the Grammys as like the next like savior of like, or I guess like next great R&B rock
Piano rock.
blending artist. Yeah. Uh, that album was just the hot trash and not interesting and super boring.
Yep.
So, uh, big disappointment there. Any others you want to shout out?
Yeah, just lastly, the two Lana albums, I won't call them like disappointments, but they just don't hold a candle to Norman fucking Rockwell, which I love so much. So
Yeah, it's a good one.
slightly disappointing. And Donda as well. Not that I had high expectations for it either, but I was disappointed in Kanye's lack of curation and his inability to trim a track list because that's something he used to care about so much. And that let me down.